Are you curious how you can become a mystic in training? I got you covered as our guest expert will share valuable insights on this topic and how you can access to the mysteries of life. Welcome to the Path to Purpose interview show, where we dive into captivating and inspiring stories of experts who have discovered their purpose and are living it out every day. I'm Dr. Katja Rusanen, and my intention is to inspire you on your path to purpose. And today's interview is no exception. So I'm thrilled to introduce our guest, Melissa Amos, who helps spiritually curious all around the world cultivating their spirituality, embracing their intuition, and break free from past restrictions so they can live a life of meaning and purpose. Qualified as a soul transformation therapist, spiritual counselor, Akashic Record Reader, and Holy Fire Reiki Master Teacher, Melissa runs a global community soul space, which helps its members embrace their full self, quirks, and all, and discover more about who they truly are. So her new book, Memoirs of a Mystic in Training, inspired the reader to understand the thread that weaves through the tapestry of your life and reminds you of the endless possibilities that are available to us in the marvelous messiness that we call life. And Melissa's mission is to create ripples of light by reminding everyone that we are all indeed mystics in training and that we all have access to the mysteries of life. And in this interview, Melissa will share how you can become a mystic in training. So get ready to be inspired. Welcome, Melissa. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm just curious, was there a special event that led you to this path? How you became a mystic in training?
Was there a special event? I think more so it's a series of teeny tiny little events that kept on moving me somewhere, which I think for the first half of my life I was quite unconscious to. And then suddenly it came and found me. So I was very lucky because my grandma was a hypnotherapist. And so from the age of about 8, I was having hypnotherapy sessions with my grandma. And that really helped me understand the mind-body connection.
Yeah.
I think that fostered something in me about that the imagination is, is something to enjoy, and it's quite useful. And that our beliefs are just beliefs and that they can be molded and changed. And that kind of really led me into quite an interest in like psychology and philosophy. And, I was a curious child, very curious. To know everything. And then it was when I was working and I was in the stressful job and I was in, the corporate environment, and, life was kind of getting on top of me, and I had everything that I thought I should have: the house, the job, the husband to be, the money, that like I had everything that I should have, but I wasn't really very fulfilled. And it was then when Reiki swooped in, and I my training. This was back in 2008, and I've suddenly realized that I was quite skeptical about a lot of things in life. And here I have this power in my hands of this energy moving through me that I could tangibly feel and see, and had influenced me in ways that I didn't even know to be possible. And I was like, well, there must be something else in the world that I've closed myself off to, that I'd quite know about. And that led me on a quest to learn everything that I could get my hands on. I was like, I think I was Hay House's biggest customer for like many years. I read all the books. And it was a discovery, I think, more than anything. And I really believe if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone.
Yeah, and that's so interesting because we have a lot of synchronicities, how we even ended up having this chat now. But I was also learning through Reiki because that I have very quick mind that wants to analyze and strategize. And then I got introduced to Reiki because I wanted to help my dog. I didn't
Right.
do it for me. I did it for my dog because I wanted to help him to heal. And then I was like, whoa, there is so much more in this world. So that kind of really opened the door for me to as well, like to start discovering more and more. So
Right.
lovely to hear your story. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And now, as you have been on this journey and you have discovered, read tons of books, discovered through most likely done lots of training, or you already, when I read your bio, done a lot. And I'm just curious, what are the things you recommend to others to help them awaken their potential?
You know, in all of the things that I've learned, and I do recommend that, by the way, that quest of discovery, of just picking up anything that tickles your fancy, especially if it's something that is quite outside of your usual day-to-day thing. Because for me, that just helped me ask myself some deep questions. But through all of these things and all of these different modalities and philosophies and practices and all of these things, I think it always comes back to the same thing. And for me, it's about really knowing yourself, like really knowing yourself, like really
Mm.
knowing what the stories you tell yourself, really knowing the limitations that we put on ourselves, really knowing the things that light us up and the things that drive us forward, and like really starting to get to know you. It can be quite tempting to go around and wanting to get all of the certificates and learn all of the things. And I know, because I have been there and I have done that. But if I was to distill it all down to like the essence, is get to know yourself and
Mm.
then do more of what it is that makes you light up, that fuels you, that pushes you forward, that energizes you, that expands you. And then the things that don't, I'd like to say do less of, but then look at that, like don't
Yeah.
ignore that, then look at that too. And I think when we start to do that, we start to open up to our gifts. And as we open up to our gifts, I think new opportunities start to come to us. And then we can really be in that space where we can help other people or animals, or, make a difference where we are.
Mm. And another thing I'm curious about, because you mentioned Akashic Records, that's one of the things that you have studied and you do, your Akashic Records Reader. And that might be also a helpful way to support us on this journey and getting to know some of the things on the way. So, first of all, let's just put everybody on the same page. What is Akashic Records? Let's answer that, because some might be like, what in the earth are they talking about? So, explain, what's your definition about Akashic Records?
Well, when I first heard of the Akashic Records, my initial reaction was like, what is that? I don't know. And now I understand it to be this field that contains everything that us as a soul has ever thought, been, done, desired, experienced. And when I mean as a soul, it's through us as a consciousness, through us, through our life, maybe through lives previous, maybe through our ancestry, through our consciousness and the things that we hold. And I think at first I thought it was something that just helped me delve into the past. That's what I thought first.
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, I can go in and I can find out who I was in a past life. Isn't that incredible to know? But actually, what I realize is it's a really great tool to know yourself better.
Mm.
It's a space that you can enter, or under the guidance of somebody who can read, can enter, and you can begin to discover where the origins of these stories that we tell ourselves come from.
Yeah.
we can begin to learn what it is that has influenced our beliefs and our ideals and our likes and our decisions, and all the things that we've done that we just kind of do and we just know, or we just think to be true. And for me, when I first discovered the records and started to explore them, I realized how much of what I thought was true or was my truth wasn't really my truth. It was just things that I'd, come to believe. And we can go in there and we can create this understanding, which starts to create this healing. And then what that does is it starts to influence us in the present to start to make decisions that are just better for us.
Yeah, that sounds super powerful, because it is, again, getting to know you and doing that. I loved when you shared as well the healing part, like healing and then having the awareness. That's what I always say as well. Awareness is the key. It's like, okay, now I see it, now I get it. And then you can move on and start creating that life that you desire, that you want. So your past doesn't need to necessarily hold you back, but sometimes we are stumbling to the pattern, especially karmic pattern, over and over again, and until we are aware, it's harder to find a way through. Like, what?
Right. Because if we don't know, if we just kind of, we go through life and we have a thought that, like, for example, money is hard to come by, or that speaking about spirituality isn't safe, or there could be 100,000 stories, and it's just something that we hold as a truth. And until we're aware, until something brings it up that goes, maybe that's not true, there's nothing challenging that. Just like when, for both of us, I think when we found Reiki and when we're like, well, hold on a minute, everything that I've known, maybe there's something more. It's not until something comes in that makes you think, okay, to question that. And for me, when I first started understanding who I was, or at least the stories that I held in this space, and how they just all made sense, how they influence me now. The things I thought about money, the things I thought about relationships, the things I thought about holding power, the things I thought about creativity, the things I held about myself and how good or bad a person I am, right? And how I can connect with things. And they were just things that were there in the unconscious. And as we start to bring them into our awareness, we can start to bring healing into that, and understanding into that, and compassion into that, and questioning into that, to go, okay, well, that was true then. It's not a lie. That was true then. I wasn't safe to talk. This conversation would have definitely got us in trouble not that long ago.
Yes.
But that's not true now. Now we can have this conversation. We can talk about it all day, and no one's going to come and, throw us to the pits. So it's like updating, if you like, these beliefs, so that we're not run by the past, we were informed by the past. And that's a really powerful place to be.
It is. And I just love that what you are sharing so much. It feels so good to actually be able to speak, because I also, when I started doing this work, I needed to clear a lot, because I had those fears and hesitations, like, how can I go out and share about this? Because in the past it wasn't always safe, but luckily now it is. That's at least my experience now. So we all have these kind of ups and downs in life. Like, life sometimes can get messy. It can be challenging. There might be setbacks. We might be like, yes, I'm gonna know myself. I'm gonna just I know myself, I love myself, and I'm moving forward in life. But then things might happen. So how would you advise somebody or give some ideas or tools that you use maybe yourself, or you recommend for your clients, to keep them centered and calm when this storm hits, and so they can really live the life that is soul led? So,
well, I
Yeah,
remember when
it's a lot, but
it's a big one. I remember when I first, like, I asked the question once in the Akashic Records. I said, "What's the purpose of life?" And I
Hmm.
got this download. And I was like, "Oh my God, I understand. I understand why we are here." Now you'd think, I just got goosebumps. You'd think that in that moment, then life would just be like easy. And now I know the purpose of
Yeah,
life. That's it. That's what everyone's
enlightened.
been searching for. And now I know it. Now life will be a breeze. Yeah, it didn't quite transpire like that. Because the truth is that I'm not sure that life is necessarily meant to be easy. I think life brings us a series of challenges and hurdles and understandings, and sometimes things, it doesn't mean that life has to be hard, but sometimes things happen because it helps us see the value in what it is that we are moving towards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say the purpose of my life was to learn about unconditional love. The best way that I can learn about unconditional love is if somebody makes it quite hard to love them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes when we just have that understanding that things happen, and there are sickness, and people do things that we don't necessarily agree with, and we can sometimes get overwhelmed with all of this outside influence that's going on, and the pressures of life and society and blah 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 blah, and all of these things. When we can come back to it and go, okay, my mind is now going nuts. That's what happens for me first. My mind goes nuts. I go into this big brain fog, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then my body responds, and my body goes, ah, and it starts going all like hectic and energetic, and or the opposite, just want to go to sleep. And the body starts responding. And in those moments, it makes it really hard to go, okay, well, I understand the purpose of life, and I need to get my soul out, because you can't hear it because everything else is on just tripwire
Yeah.
going nuts, right? So my advice to you is going to be maybe something different to what you expect. But my first advice would be, okay, well, listen to what's going on in your head. Get it
Mm.
all out. If you want to get a pen and paper, or if you want to talk it out, or you just want to listen, just sit there and go, okay, I'm going to hear you. And then you'll start to hear your voice going, oh, it's all too much, and I'm this, and I'm that, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, I'm hearing you, and just hear it. The trick is to not get carried away with it, just to hear it and be like, okay, brain, there's your opinion. Thank you very much. And then we dip into the body, and then the body is going, oh, it's also hard, and it hurts, and blah, blah, blah. So you go, okay, I'm going to spend some moment, body, call it body, or give it a name. Like, tell me, what is it you want? And it's going to go, oh, it's so hard, and you're going to listen to it. And you're going to go, okay, body, I hear you. I hear you. Thank you so much for reminding me how much I care. Because
Yeah.
that's what it's trying to keep you alive. So you get the brain, you let it download, give it all the time you need. Get the body, let it download, give it all the time you need. Don't get attached to it. It's just thoughts, it's just feelings. That's what it all is. Once you've let that run its course, which, once you actually give it attention, it's not as long a thing. You think it's going to be 6 weeks, but it's normally just a few minutes. Once you've done that, then you come in and then you go, okay, soul or heart or intuition or guide or whatever it is that makes you feel centered and guided, and say, okay, now can you give me your opinion? Let me know. And you'll get something. You might not get a word in your head going, go and do this, but you might just get a sensation or a feeling or a resonance in the body, just something that, I challenge you, if you do this, will most probably calm you down or center you or ground you or just bring you back to you. It's going to be very hard to go straight there, because your brain and your body is just going to go on fire, and it's going to be like, I just listen to me first. So listen to them first, and then bring it in, and then bring it back. And then make your decisions and go about your life from there.
Wow, that was so profound. I love the different aspects and the order, how you shared. So now you people go out there, go and test that out. And I still have a question about, because we started talking about the mystic in training, and people might have tuned in because they want to know more. So, as we start wrapping up here, I would like to know, how do you become a mystic in training? And what could be one thing for those who are like, that feels a calling for me to tap into that, discover more? What can they do other than buy your book, of course, which I would recommend, because you wrote the book about this topic. So what else can they do?
You know, when you hear something like the term mystic, it conjures up these images of some sage that has lived, you know, lifetimes and all of this. And when I was writing the book and I was wondering what it was going to be called, and I heard this title, Memoirs of a Mystic, and I was like, well, that just feels too big for me. I'm, you know, not an old lady. I've lived my life, and, you know, and I put that back, and then I heard back in training, and I was like, yes, this feels good. Because I think for me that we are all mystics in training. And what does that mean? The mystic is the mysteries in life, the invisible world, the magic that's there and the magic that's out there. And that it's not just about the physical realm. It's not just about, you know, the things that I have and the things that I can look, touch, see, touch, feel. It's the other aspects. And I think even by just, if you're hearing that call, if you're like, oh, mystic in training, I like that, know that you are one. No, that's it. First of all, know that you are one. And secondly, just come about life with a curiosity. Even if you're not, don't believe it just yet, because I was right there. And if you read my book, you'll see quite how long it took me to be like, okay, well, maybe there is, how much proof the universe had to keep giving me that maybe there is magic around. But if you just go about your life with this curiosity of like, well, maybe I am a soul living in a human body, maybe. And if I'm a soul living in a human body, then maybe everybody else is also a soul living in a human body. And if everyone else is also a soul living in a human body, maybe like the tree has some energy, and maybe the nature has some energy, maybe the sun, and maybe the planets, and maybe the food that I eat, and maybe the relationship, maybe let's just put it out there, curiosity. Maybe there's magic in the world, and maybe I am able to tap into it. And if that were true, what would I do? Ask yourself that, and you'll find yourself being a mystic in training.
Oh, I got goosebumps. That was a good one. And it's a thing, like, it's easy, starting point. Ask
Right.
a question and see what starts unfolding for you. And I just want to say thank you. You've given us a lot to think about. You've given us practical things to do and start this journey. And you also put together a special gift for my audience to take what we have been talking about here and go deeper with you. So can you share a little bit about your gift?
Yes. It's all very well me talking about the magic. There's magic there, and you just got to listen to it and all of this. And then you're like, but I don't know how. So I've put together it's a short meditation with an accompanying exercise, which will really help you understand how to hear that inner voice, how to hear, if you like, the signals or the impressions from the universe, to help you navigate that easily and in your own way, not in my way.
Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you will find the link in the description. So check it out. And now, as we are closing this interview, so I just want to give you an opportunity if you have a special message that you would like to share here.
Do I have a soul message? I want to say this. I do believe that we all are mystics in training. And if we can allow for that possibility to come and to start to rise through us, then you will find that you will just become more of yourself. And as you become more of yourself, you will find that things just start to flow for you easier. And as things flow for you easier, things will improve. Your relationships, the way that you show up, the way that you act, the way that the universe responds to you. And if we all do that, I think the world will become a way better place.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Melissa, for your sharing the insights and your time today. And if you found this interview helpful, please give thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more. And don't forget to check out our previous episodes too. So I'm sending you lots of love, lots of light. Bye for now.